Welcome everybody to Ridiculously Raw, the most must-see show on YouTube today. Hello friends, your ridiculously over good brother Anthony Florio here, joined by my partner in crime for this evening, the Twisted Angel D.D. Woodson. And I gotta tell you, yeah, Monday Night Raw was not the best show again, of course. But slowly but surely, we're seeing some improvement here. I mean, yes, we still have, for the most part, there were still some segments that had, as Didi Woodson calls them, the monkey riders. But I prefer we don't use monkey riders anymore. I prefer we use, in the immortal words of the new Daniel Bryan, the mindless, fickle sheep, because that's what the writers on Monday Night Raw are for the most part, in my book. But nonetheless, this was one of the better Raws we've had in a while. I mean, yes, there was still some nonsense, but let's dive right on in. And in the event, or I should say, in the unlikely event that good old MF Michael Fletcher or Michael Bullock show up, we'll simply catch them up on what they missed. Simple as that. So, nonetheless, let's dive right on into this go home to TLC edition of Monday Night Raw, which was live tonight from the Valley View Casino Center in San Diego, California, exclusively on the USA Network. And we started it off with who I call the heart and soul of Monday Night Raw, the frontline soldier himself, Seth Rollins. And, you remember last week on MF's show, the Cerebral Smack Talk, we said that the new Daniel Bryan was the MVP of that show. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I give you the MVP of this show here tonight. The Architect, the King Slayer, and he calls out your quote-unquote general manager-elect Baron Corbin, and Seth Rollins did not hold back. Seth Rollins spoke on behalf of every single disgruntled Monday Night Raw fan, including myself, Didi Woodson, Michael Bullock, and MF, and Derek Ferrera. And, well, he called him out, blaming him for the low ratings. And, he didn't hold back. He said that, you heard what he said out there. I mean, Rollins had said that what he was doing as general manager was wrong. And, he says, under your leadership, Monday Night Raw has sucked, and has sucked because of you. And, he talked about how, he sang the praises of the locker room by saying it was one of the most talented in the show's history. And Rollins also complained about the Revival competing in Lucha House Rules matches when they should be challenging for the Raw Tag Team Championship. And of course, he also poked at the bathroom humor, with Drake Maverick, that story. And he also ripped on Brock Lesnar, which, again, he speaks on behalf of all of us. And he said his run as general manager had been an abject failure. The morale, fan support, and TV ratings are at an all-time low, and it's all because of you. And then Corbin did his usual shtick. So, but, we did get a big payoff out of this. A huge main event for this evening. A tables, ladders, and chairs match for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins defending against General Manager-elect Baron Corbin. Okay. Without a doubt, this was the segment of the night. Hands down, segment of the night. Finally, a compelling segment with Seth Rollins pointing out the crappiness that has been Monday Night Raw for the last several weeks, even if he was blaming Corbin rather than the guy in charge of writing the show, Vince McMahon. But if you're looking for a wordplay, Corbin said Rollins had his TLC match, but he never confirmed it would be against him. But either way, it was a nice hook, And it looks like the company is finally out to do something to improve their lousy ratings. So, well done. That's all I can say on that. So, Seth Rollins, brother, you were preaching to the choir this evening. Well done, sir. And you wonder why he is the heart and soul of Monday Night Raw and the frontline soldier. So, each and every week, I gain more and more respect for Seth Rollins. And tonight, my respect for Rollins is at an all-time sky high. Brilliant. That's all there is to say on that. So Didi Woodson, I mean, Seth Rollins, speaking on behalf of every single disgruntled Monday Night Raw fan out there, especially us. And all I can say is you wonder why Seth Rollins is the heart and soul of this show.
It's about time somebody stands up to that idiot. It took a man who has, probably the greatest courage right now on Raw that's not injured or anything, that could actually get out there and get in this guy's face and tell him, basically do what Florio does every week, tells you exactly how it is. He went out there, he gave Corbin the speech where he just, laid it all out, told him how the cow ate the cabbage. Any kind of pun you want to put in there, that's pretty much what Rollins did. This was definitely the segment of the night. This was definitely well done, definitely something that needed to be done. And having somebody, that respectable actually go out there and represent the fans the way he did and finally say, hey, look, this is it. This is what went down. This is what you're doing wrong. This is what you need to fix. And then finally fixing it in his own way by finding a way to, make this main event match. So, it is what it is. This was definitely a good start to Raw. Very newsworthy start to Raw, and we'll just have to see if Raw stays on this path throughout the rest of the show. So I'm going to toss it back to you.
All right. And we had a brief little chat in our group text chat box. And one of the words that came up was newsworthy. And here you go. Here comes a rare newsworthy moment, something we haven't had in a while. We had a 3-on-2 handicap match with the Raw Tag Team Championship on the line. The champions, Authors of Pain, Akam and Razor, and their manager Drake Maverick, squaring off against Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. And when all was said and done, the winners of the match, in 8 minutes and 25 seconds, and new Raw Tag Team Champions, the glorious Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. Bobby Roode rolling up Drake Maverick. Drake Maverick got a little overconfident. He thought the AOP did enough to put them away. He wanted the glory. He went to cover Roode. He got overconfident and cocky on the cover. And then the next thing you know, Bobby Roode has the wherewithal to roll him up into a crucifix type move, gets the 1-2-3, and Bobby Roode and Chad Gable are your brand new Raw Tag Team Champions. And history was made tonight, Didi Woodson. Chad Gable becomes the first man in the history of the business to complete the trifecta. NXT Tag Team Champion, check. SmackDown Tag Team Champion, check. Raw Tag Team Champion, check. How about it?
Nice. Yeah, he definitely deserves to take credit for accomplishing that. Yeah. Yeah. Drake Maverick got a bit cocky, decided to try to imitate Rude at the end just to waste too much time and have Rude, turn it into a crucifix pin. He kept saying, well, he wanted to repeat last week. Well, sorry, dude. You certainly did not get the win on this one. You can't accept that you got the win on this one. So you just proved why you don't need to be out there in the ring. Stick to being a manager. But all in all, this was it was a fair fight. I mean, I'm not going to say it was the best in the world, but it was an okay match. And we finally got the baby faces over on this one, so it's kind of good to see that AOP's run's over. But at the same time, this was kind of a stupid way to end it with all the things they've done this month. Having Drake, pee his pants and go out there and ruin Rude's coat, which was kind of nice to see Rude and Gable actually having matching outfits tonight too. So, not much more I'm going to say about it. I'm going to give it about 2 stars. It was a decent match, so not much more I'm going to say about it. I'll toss it to you.
Also had matching robes as well, and I agree with the rating, 2 stars. But when you tell people your show sucks and is drawing record low ratings, it's only logical that you would follow it up with a feel-good, newsworthy moment. Here's hoping they also follow up Seth's comments about the revival by having them dethrone Bobby Roode and Chad Gable as Raw Tag Team Champions very soon. Although AOP will be, they're going to be demanding a rematch without question. Don't be surprised if we get that either at the TLC pay-per-view on Sunday night or maybe next week on Monday Night Raw in Sacramento. So we'll have to wait and see on that. So 2-star match, I agree with that. But a newsworthy moment happened. New Raw Tag Team Champions, Bobby Roode and Chad Gable. Bobby Roode winning his second championship on the main roster. He was a former United States heavyweight champion over on SmackDown Live, and now he's a Raw Tag Team Champion, and give it up for Chad Gable. I mean, the only man in the history of the business that I know of that has won an NXT, SmackDown, and Raw Tag Team Championship. So, well done to him. And you know how high I've been on him over the last couple of years. I said he improved leaps and bounds, and I'm definitely intrigued to see where this Roode and Gable championship team goes, how far it will go. But we'll see how long it takes before they get the throne. Could they drop them back to AOP, as transitional champions? It's very possible. And of course, who knows? Maybe the revival maybe figures a hand into this. So nothing more to say on this. Let's move on here. We had Natalya come out for a promo, regarding Ruby Riott. Of course, that at TLC on Sunday night, Natalya and Ruby Riott will square off in a tables match, and Natty, thanks the fans, and talks about her emotion and said how much she loves the business. Ruby Riott doesn't respect the business, and of course, she also talked about how Ruby Riott has disrespected her father and her family, and talked about her struggles. And Natty says that I'm going to dedicate my match on Sunday to my father, the late great Jimmy Anvil Neidhart. And then out comes Ruby Riott, and well, Ruby goes there again, and he comes out with a little present, if you will, and it was a cardboard cutout of Jim the Anvil Neidhart laid out on a table. And Ruby basically says, well, when I put you through that table, that exact table, you and your father will be closer than ever. Okay, so it does feel like Natalya cries or gets beaten up every week, so you could score one for Ruby on that regard. But I'm happy to see women who are not in the title picture get an actual storyline. But I find the way they're using the Anvil's death to be a turnoff here. And you know me, I'm the biggest Hart family mark out of all of us, even though I know we all are fans of the Hart family. But because of my love for Bret the Hitman Hart, especially because he was my childhood hero growing up, and I think about how I think about the entire family as well, but nonetheless, yes, it's an actual storyline, but this is where going there is going too far, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. So, it was fine. It was fine, but Didi, I got a quick question here. I remember a number of weeks ago you were very critical about Natty with the fake tears that she had, when Ruby destroyed the vintage Anvil shades. Did you see that? Did you see that again tonight, or did you see, or was that actually real here?
It seemed a little more real this time than it did last time. So, yeah, I don't think it was as much crocodile tears as it was with the glasses. Because, like I said, she's got several things, I'm sure, that are special to her that her dad has passed down to her, like that jacket. Those glasses, I'm sure they were, for them to actually go out there and break them, I'm sure they were probably a replica. I don't think that she would actually allow something like that to happen. So, this time around, that seemed like it was a little bit more real emotion just because of the fact, who would expect somebody to come out with a cardboard cutout glued or taped or whatever to a table? That's more disrespect than I think we really needed to see. And, WWE is getting to be very notorious for taking real life stuff and sticking it into storylines, and it's getting to be pretty sick, and especially when you take something like this, that's somebody's death, and really, just throw it out there and, in a storyline, and just, you're actually ripping at somebody's heartstrings, and that's something that, I think almost anybody would be in our boots saying, hey, look, this is going too far. You need to back off. You need to you need to cut this here and not go any further with it. So hopefully TLC is the last time we're going to see this, and hopefully, get past the blood, sweat, and tears that we're seeing every week from Natty. So I'm not going to say too much more. I'll give it back to you.
Okay, moving on to our next matchup. A return match from last week. Yeah, where have you heard that before? This is the work of the mindless, fickle sheep writers. But I can't really blame it here because they said that, Drew McIntyre he demanded a return match with Dolph Ziggler after what happened last week. So we get it here. Drew McIntyre against Dolph Ziggler. And Drew McIntyre got what he wanted. He got his revenge on Ziggler. He wins it in 8.5 minutes with the Claymore. So Didi Woodson, I got to say, not quite as good as last week, but I still thought this was a solid match again.
Yeah, not as great. I'll give it about 2 3/4. It was pretty good. It played out well. McIntyre made his point at the interview before the match started, saying, nobody's going to win every match. we all have to accept the fact that we're all, eventually going to lose a match. And, last week was his match to lose. So he went out there and, he almost lost it again tonight, but, he ended up standing tall in the end. And, he took Dolph down, and we'll see what happens when we hit Sunday's pay-per-view, because this definitely stuck with the storyline that we've been working on, and we'll see now if, Dolph, he said earlier, I don't need Balor's help, so we'll see if, Ziggler does return the favor that Dolph did last week and actually come out and help Balor, maybe try to beat McIntyre again. We'll see what happens. Not much more I'm going to say about it. I'll give it back to you.
Yeah. A 2.5-star match. I agree with that. It was a good match. Drew McIntyre, in my opinion, is the best heel on the brand. And I'm happy they seem to have moved on from the Corbin, McIntyre, and Lashley alliances. The trio had no chemistry whatsoever. But on a side note, it's funny that company officials race out to stop a powerbomb, but the same company has tables, ladders, and chairs set up all around the ring and on the stage tonight because of the theme of Sunday's pay-per-view. So just a little nitpick there. But other than that, 2.5-star match. I agree with that. Now it's back to mindless, fickle sheep writer time. Because this is where, of course, they have to have their moment in the sun. I don't know why, but they do. Bayley versus Alicia Fox. That was our next matchup. Bayley had Sasha Banks in her corner. Alicia Fox had Jinder Mahal. Excuse me. That's how I refer to him. And the Singh brothers, or as Luigi PS3 here on YouTube refers to them as the Jabroni Squad, which is what they are. Bayley won the match 3 minutes and 45 seconds thanks to the Bayley the Belly. That. Sorry to say, even though we are very, very much so in the women's evolution era or revolution era. I'm sorry that had all the makings of a ho hum diva fight. If I'm going to be quite honest with you, that's what it felt like to me. So I'll give it about 1 star maybe for the effort, but of course the mixed match challenge. Of course, Finn Balor was scheduled to be Bayley's partner, but Finn Balor is injured, so Apollo Crews will be stepping in for Finn Balor as Bayley's partner tomorrow night in the semifinals of the Mixed Match Challenge against Alicia Fox and Jinder Mahal. So we'll see how that goes. And of course, the finals of that will take place on Sunday night at TLC, and whichever team wins, the man will be number 30 in the men's Royal Rumble match. The woman will be number 30 in the women's Royal Rumble match. And they will also get an all-expense-paid vacation. Okay. If it was me, I'd want one to Italy. So that's all I would say on that. So, all right. So with all that being said, let's move on here. You had was more fickle sheep stuff here. Another Elias moment here, doing his usual shtick, which was, to me, another meh outing. So I'm just going to park it there. Then you had Elias against Lio Rush. And Lio Rush, quote unquote, won the match in 4 minutes and 10 seconds. It technically should have been a disqualification. And we saw the debut of Heath Slater as a referee. Obviously, he was under the control of Baron Corbin, and Baron Corbin, basically, I guess, paid him off to be a crooked referee, much to his chagrin. And he didn't call for the disqualification when Lashley came in and helped Rush, but and then he had to reluctantly count the 1, 2, 3. So, and I'm surprised they didn't make a big fuss over Rush being put in the ring with Lashley. Granted, those who watch 205 Live know he is a talented wrestler. He really is. But it may have been a hook for the masses who are not watching 205 Live to think that the annoying Rush could be put in his place. So, more on that, when I get to my Tony's takes. So, that's all there is to it. So, and then from there we had the face-to-face summit, which was Nia Jax and Ronda Rousey. Alexa Bliss was the quote-unquote moderator, but she wasn't really much involved with this because Rousey and Nia went at it, and then it led into a match, Ember Moon against Tamina, and Ember Moon picks up the win in 5 minutes and 15 seconds. So, all right, what do we think of this? Well, I'm just glad we didn't get another one of those stupid open forum fan segments that we've had the last couple of weeks. One thing that the mindless, fickle sheep writers obviously did right here. Glad we didn't get that, which is what they were teasing for that segment, honestly. Nia was solid, but her promo was wordy, and she seemed to lose people as it went on. So that's all I can say on that. And then as far as Ember and Tamina goes, I'm sorry. It was a little bit better. It was a little bit better than the Bayley and Alicia matchup, but I'm sorry. This was, I hate to say it, yet another ho-hum diva-like fight. I'm going to be quite honest with you. This one was a little bit better. I'll give this about 1.5, maybe 2. But WWE failed to make Nia feel like a monster and a true threat to Ronda. And Jax acted fearful last week, and Rousey roughed her up with ease in this segment, and it just doesn't feel like a showdown match, unlike going into Money in the Bank. That one was exciting, but that's too bad, considering that Nia Jax is once again the monster heel of the Raw Women's division. So that's really all I can say on that. So Didi Woodson, do you want to 3 or 2 cents in on that, or you just want to move on?
It was sad. This was sad. I mean, the only good thing I would say that actually came out of this is we did not have to hear Alexa Bliss open her mouth.
It's true.
Because Nia cut her off immediately when she walked out there. But yeah, I mean, I wouldn't even say this was storyline progressing because, the match really didn't have much to do with the storyline. I mean, it wasn't even Nia or Ronda in the match. I mean, it was their buddies in the match. And, here they're trying to say this was, something to make Ronda look good. But, I mean, Ronda wasn't even in the match. This was Amber's chance to look good. And Amber don't even have a pay-per-view match. So, I don't get it. I'll give it probably 1 star. But, yeah, it wasn't that great. I definitely agree that the 2 matches we had tonight for the girls were a step backwards, major step backwards. So yeah, let's move on.
And we are going to move on to the main event of the evening, the tables, ladders, and chairs match for the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. Seth Rollins defending the title against General Manager-elect Baron Corbin. Heath Slater inserted as the referee for this match. But when all was said and done, the winner of the match in 24.5 minutes, and still the Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, Seth Rollins, overcomes the odds. Didi Woodson, without a doubt, fight of the night by a country mile right here.
Yeah, definitely. But really, did we have to see Corbin for almost 25 minutes?
Good point.
Ugh.
I agree.
Yeah. that's probably, well, that and the fact that he definitely had Slater in his back pocket for this match, I would definitely say, or the two low points of the whole match. Other than that, I mean, it was a very good match. I mean, Seth Rollins definitely busted his butt for 25 minutes, but still, Corbin, did we have to see Corbin that long? Oi!
Don't worry, he's gonna get his. Don't worry.
Oh, I hope so, because I've heard all the rumors that they kept teasing about during the show. I've heard them all. I've seen them. I've seen the YouTube videos on it, seen the dirt sheets on it. Let's just,
Yep.
I've even seen the video of him actually rehabbing. And Michael Cole, why? I'm going to go back to the first segment here for just 1 second. Why in the heck are you talking about it being a shoulder injury when it was actually, I think, his elbow that he actually had surgery on?
That's right, Strowman. Yes.
Do we not know what our body parts are? Do we need to go back to school and learn, the skeleton? Or have you had one too many hits to the head, Michael Cole?
Yeah, back when he was a heel, that annoying pest heel that he was years ago.
Ugh. Yeah, I could go on a roll just on the announcers, but I'm not going to do that. But that was my one nitpick from Michael Cole tonight that just kind of hurt me.
He was a little mindless there. He was a little bit mindless there.
It seems like every week he's getting worse.
Well, he's not getting any younger, so.
No, none of them are. None of us are.
No.
But yeah, I'm gonna actually hit this one with about 3 stars. I mean, this was definitely the fight of the night, and it having a TLC match on Raw definitely brought Raw up from the lows we've had lately. I mean, we've had several weeks here of really bad Raws, and here we've had at least two newsworthy matches and a segment. So this definitely, having this TLC match definitely helped bring that up. And then you had the storyline progression with Dean coming out at the end, and even some of the segments throughout the night with Dean. I mean, he watched the promo at the or the segment at the beginning, and he did an interview with the little promo going back in time for him. There's just a lot of things that just led up to this match, and just made this match a little bit more enjoyable to watch, even though we had to put up with acting general manager for 25 minutes. But yeah, someone needs to go out there and tell Heath Slater you don't have to do everything Corbin tells you to do. But it is what it is. So not much more I'm going to say about it. I'll give it back to you.
Yeah, 3.5 to 4. I mean, fight of the night. Closing minutes were very good with the crowd coming to life for Seth's big spots. And it was perfectly logical that Dean Ambrose waited to come out rather than attacking Seth Rollins during the match, because it would have cost him a shot at the Intercontinental Heavyweight Championship. And in fact, it would have made more sense if he had stopped Baron Corbin at some point, but that would have been confusing. So, but nonetheless, that was a fantastic closing stretch there. And, Slater was that reluctant, keyword reluctant, crooked referee that Baron Corbin wanted him to be. So, yeah, so nothing really more to say on this. So let's get into our overall thoughts here. And yeah, newsworthy show. And this was a middle of the road 50-50 type show. I mean, yes, there was still some nonsense here and there, but I think 5 to 5.5 would probably be the best rating for this show tonight. I mean, it was interesting that they spent the entire show blaming Baron Corbin for the sad state of Raw. Yet he was all over the show. and in a 24.5-minute main event. In fairness, they're blaming his work as the storyline general manager for Raw Sad State rather than him as a wrestler. This week's Raw was an improved effort, and it was nice to see them offer some hint that they are aware of how bad things are. But however, there were still some logic gaps and awkward moments, a la the mindless, fickle sheep writers. And you remember what the new Daniel Bryan said on last week's show, that Alexander Hamilton quote about giving power to the masses. It's to the mindless masses. You know that story, so I'm just gonna park that there. But improvement for this week, and I got a good feeling about next week, because I got a feeling Sunday night, Mr. General Manager elect is gonna get his, whether it's Braun Strowman or if some rumors that I heard about possibly Bray Wyatt stepping in. I wouldn't mind that either. So I think he will get his. I think he will lose. And maybe next Monday night on Raw, from the beautiful new Golden One Center in Sacramento, California, I got a feeling that hopefully not only does Corbin get his, but hopefully we will get a new general manager. It doesn't matter if it's a man or a woman. I don't care. I just want a serious-minded general manager, no crooked, corrupt general manager who makes the show all about himself and abuses his power left and right. To me, general manager-elect Baron Corbin, far and away the worst authority figure in the history of Monday Night Raw. The guy makes John Laurinaitis look like Teddy Long, for goodness sakes. That's it. So 5 to 5.5. Nothing more to say. So D.D. Woodson, improved effort. Still some issues, a la the mindless, fickle sheep writers, but one of the better Raws we've seen in quite some time, and it's about time.
And as you can see, this is the closest I can find to sheep writing, so
that's good. I love it.
But yeah, definitely middle of the road here. Like I said earlier, you still had, a couple of good matches, at least one good segment. But all in all, middle of the road. A lot of, even some of the backstage stuff was actually kind of relevant this time around, but still, just it needs a lot of work. It needs a lot of fine tuning to make it, even better than what it was. I mean, yes, it's definitely newsworthy. We definitely have, a couple of things here that actually led to the pay-per-view, seeing as this is supposed to be the go-home show, and it still was the All About Baron Corbin show, and we all know, all of us are sick and tired of acting general manager Baron Corbin, who needs to be just taken out behind the woodshed.
Yeah, check her apron, his you-know-what.
Oh, yeah. Go out there, and with him, you'd probably have to get a switch and take him out there and bend you over the checkered apron and switch.
Even better.
Switch to him. But yeah, this was, it was stupid to put him in charge in the first place. I mean, when she had him as the constable,
ugh.
I mean, he hasn't been there that long. He definitely hasn't done anything to deserve to have that title, let alone have the temporary GM and now the acting general manager. So he doesn't deserve to even have any of these titles right now. I don't know why he does, other than Stephanie thinks that she can control this little weasel, I guess, is the only thing I can think of. But I think she's totally lost control, because now Corbin's calling this his show, which I believe this is actually Stephanie's show, not Corbin's show. So I would say Stephanie needs to be at the pay-per-view, and she needs to lay down some laws because her show is definitely going down the toilet between her dad writing and her GM, who doesn't seem to know his butt from a hole in the ground. So, yeah, I'm hoping that on the Raw side of this pay-per-view, we actually get something a little bit better than we've had the last few shows. I mean, they made a strong showing, yeah, at Survivor Series, but you can't just have a strong showing at the pay-per-views and then have lousy shows. So they need to do something about this. They need to turn something around. Here we are. We're at the end of 2018. Let's get the show turned around so that at the first of the year, maybe we can have some, at least better shows than just half decent. I mean, the fans deserve to have some better product than what we're getting. If you have to, Vince, retire, pass the reins over, because this was, these last few shows have been nothing but crap. So this was definitely at least a little bit better, newsworthy, definitely. So, you guys can skip most of the stuff in the middle. Just watch the beginning, watch the end, and you're good. So I'm going to head out. See you tomorrow if we're having the show tomorrow, since we don't know where Fletch is. So good night, guys.
All right, night, Dee Dee. I'll we should just pencil it in for tomorrow. I messaged MF and we'll see what he says, and as soon as I hear anything, I'll let you know. So
yeah, I haven't heard from him in a couple of days because I messaged him when I had the Facebook incidents, and I haven't heard from him even from that either. So
yep, well documented about that. So all right, so we'll hopefully it'll be tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk. So like I said, I'll let you know what's going on with that. So as soon as I hear anything from MF. So all right, so let's get into Tony's Take Time here and 205 Live, and we started off with Drew Gulak against D. Brian Kendrick. D. Brian Kendrick wins in 8 minutes and 50 seconds via disqualification, outside interference by gentleman Jack Gallagher. 3-star match for the most part. It was a good, hard-hitting, and dirty at times match, reflective of the feud. The DQ finish actually works to extend the feud and keep the heat on Gulak and Gallagher. And then you had the squash match of the week. Ariya Daivari was in it, winning in 1 minute and 55 seconds. Really good reintroductory squash for Daivari, showing off his new vicious and serious side. And then the main event of the evening, the Lucha House Party, Lince Dorado and Kalisto squaring off against TJP and Mike Kanellis. Lucha House Party wins 14 minutes and 20 seconds. Another 3-star match. Overall good match with some really great stuff from TJP and the Luchas, but nowhere near the great Lucha House Party tags of the past. I really could have done without the Maria and Pinata spots. And Mike Kanellis was really exposed here as not fitting in that well, as his transitions and selling of some of the basic Lucha stuff was bad at times. So nothing more to say here. 7 out of 10. Overall good show, with the opener and main event being good matches and a strong reintroduction of Ariya Daivari. And they also did a good job of hyping the Buddy Murphy Cedric Alexander rematch, which is going to be going down soon. So I believe it's going to be going down this Sunday at TLC. So we'll see how that goes. So nothing really more to say there. Let's just move on to the Impact Wrestling from this past week. So see what we have for this week. Started it off with a qualifying match for the Ultimate X. Willie Mack against Jay Christ of the OVE. Jay Christ wins the match in 8 minutes and 40 seconds. 3-star match, but I could have done without the distraction BS. I mean, I get that it's OVE's gimmick and it helps Willie Mack save face in the loss, but otherwise it was a good and fun opening match. Then we had the Dark Alley squaring off against Heather Monroe. Dark Alley wins in 4 minutes and 40 seconds. Yeah, 1 3/4 star match. It wasn't much. It felt a bit too long. Monroe got a bit too much in there. But it did work to get over the new Dark Alley, and her character work was really good here. So no complaints from that perspective. Desi Hit Squad in a squash match, 3.5 minutes. Another 1 3/4. I'm still not feeling the Desi Hit Squad at all. It's not that they're actively bad or anything. They just don't do anything They just don't do anything that's interesting or makes me care in any way. So I'm just gonna park it there. Then we have the other Ultimate X qualifying match, Ethan Page against Matt Sydal. And when all was said and done, Ethan Page picks up the win in 15 minutes and 25 seconds. 2 3/4 star match. It was a bit lethargic at times, but it was pretty good as it played off of their relationship. But it really felt like it was missing something, as knowing both guys, I know they have a way better match in them. But Page comes across as a really questionable choice for the Ultimate X match. But maybe he'll be a pleasant surprise. You don't know. And then the big main event, mixed tag team match, Moose and the Knockouts champion Tessa Blanchard against World Heavyweight Champion Johnny Impact and his wife Taya Valkyrie. Johnny Impact and Taya Valkyrie pick up the win, 15 minutes and 8 seconds, 3-star match. It started slow, but it really picked up nicely down the stretch, and it turned into a good match with Taya picking up the win and making her look like a threat for the Homecoming pay-per-view next month. And the post-match angle also played out well. So nothing more to say here. 6 1/4 out of 10. Impact Wrestling does remain a very solid and consistent show. It's never bad, and it's fine episodic television. They continued to build the Homecoming, and things are solidly in place, but the show is just lacking that special something that makes me feel as if I have to watch, just like Monday Night Raw does. Solid and consistent is all well and good and even appreciated, but it feels like forever ago that they had the hot streak leading into Slammiversary back in the summer, where it really felt like they were really building to something. But the good news is the Homecoming pay-per-view definitely shaping up very, very nicely, if I'm going to be quite honest with you. So there's really nothing more to say on that. So 6 1/4 out of 10 is the correct rating for this show. So let's get into what we can expect on the show this week. We've got a couple of more qualifying matches for the X Division, for the Ultimate X match. We got Dave Crist of the OVE squaring off against Rich Swann. Trevor Lee squaring off against the newcomer Trey Miguel of the Rascals. Josh Matthews hosts an in-ring interview segment with Tessa Blanchard and Taya Valkyrie. And a big announcement will be made about that match. Wait till you hear wait till you hear the caveat that's been added for that one. Phoenix squares off against Santana of LAX. Jordan Grace against another newcomer, Ruby Reyes, who was the protege of Katarina, I guess you can say. And then in the main event, we had Moose squaring off against Brian Cage. So really nothing more to say on that. So that all goes down Thursday night. So 10 p.m. Pop Television. Check it out when you have a chance. So that'll do it for this edition of Ridiculously Raw. Of course, tomorrow night, I haven't heard anything from MF yet, but I'm assuming it'll be tomorrow night. We got the Cerebral Smack Talk over on MF's channel, Braves Fan 95. And, we'll see what he has to say. SmackDown Live going down. We'll review that. Their go-home show for TLC. We'll see if he has anything with the Mikey's Mindset. Friday night, hopefully we'll have it this time. NFL Friday, Week 15 edition. Some huge games to get into. And then sometime on Saturday, this weekend, we'll have to work it out. We'll have to get a TLC preview show in there somewhere. And then, of course, Sunday night, we'll have the recap. So we'll get it all worked out as soon as, we get together again. So that's pretty much it. So until maybe tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk with MF over on Braves Fan 95, this is your ridiculously over good brother, Anthony Florio here. In spirit for all of my colleagues, good old MF Michael Fletcher, the Phenom Michael Bullock, the Twisted Angel Dee Woodson, and Bullet Club Soldier 1984 Derek Ferreira. You know the routine, everybody. Thumbs up. Talk to you later. Yeah. Throw it up Fortune 4 style. Bye for now, my friends. God bless. Be good to each other. Have a blessed Tuesday. And until tomorrow night for the Cerebral Smack Talk, keep it watching. Ridiculously Raw right here on the Tone 25 on YouTube.com. And remember, no matter what anyone tells you, wrestling is indeed actually real. For everybody who's been a part of this one, for now, Anthony Florio, so long, and bye, everybody, bye.